Today we're going to review Skill 6, Lesson 1. Let's look at our learning targets. I can review the spellings S and SS. I can learn the sound spelling spelled C. I can read words with spelled S, SS, and C. I can read the personal narrative in the cave and fill out a story map describing different elements of the story. I can spell two-syllable words that feature d, and the tricky word there. Today, we will review the basic code spelling for and introduce a new spelling alternative. S is a sound spelling card that we've already reviewed. We know by looking at the power bar that this spelling is very common. Look at my sample word, sit. Double consonant letter spelling S is also a sound spelling card we're familiar with. We know by looking at our power bar that this spelling is not so common. I have the sample word kiss. Today, I'm going to introduce to you a new sound spelling card. The letter C can represent the sound in some words. This is a tricky one because C can also represent the K sound. I'm going to place this sound spelling card on my consonant code flip book. Let's look at the power bar. Do you think this spelling is common or not so common? That's right, it's not as common. We'll talk about when C represents the sound in later lessons. My sample word is sell. This is a science type of sell. It's not the type of sell like I go to the store and they sell groceries. Take out your individual code chart. Turn to page 8. You should already have the S and SS spellings traced. Go ahead and put a red box around the C spelling for S. We know this is a consonant sound. Take out your skywriters. In the air, I want you to write the letter C and say the S sound. Go ahead. Whenever the spelling C appears on an activity page or in a story for the next few lessons, it will be printed in bold type to remind us that this is a spelling we've recently learned. Let's look at our spelling tree for S. We have 4 different spellings that we're going to be working with. We have S, C, SS, and CE. We'll learn about SE later. Let's look at these words at the bottom. My first word is sit, sit. Where does my word go on my tree? That's right. Sit has a S represented by an S. Snake also has S represented by S. What about sail? C, very good. And lastly, kiss. SS, very good. Remember, the length of our branches tell us how common and not so common each spelling is. Your turn, try these. Let's see if you were right. Dress, scent, sun, pencil, song. Very good. Let's look at our learning targets. I can review the spellings spelled S and SS. I can learn the sound spelling spelled C. I can read words with spelled S, SS, and C. I can read the personal narrative in the cave and fill out a story map describing different elements of the story. I can spell two-syllable words that feature d, and the tricky word there. Look at our writing graphic. It shows us the 3 steps when in the writing process: plan, draft, and edit. Today, we will begin another series of writing lessons today. We will begin learning about another genre of writing, the personal narrative. A narrative is a story, and a personal narrative is a story that describes something personal or something that really happened to you. In the next few lessons, we will learn to write a personal narrative. We read a personal narrative in Kate's book. Kate wrote about adventures that happened to her and Nan over the summer. Kate's book is a personal narrative because it is a story that Kate wrote about something that happened to her. Turn in your Skills 6 workbook to activity page 1.1, page 1. This is an example of a personal narrative from Kate's book. It is a personal narrative because it was written by Kate about something that happened to her. Listen as I read this personal narrative. In the cave. When I went to visit with Nan, I was sad. I missed Mom and Dad, but Nan cheered me up and made things fun. Nan took me on hikes. The land I saw in the west was not at all like the land I am used to. Where I am from, things are green in the summer, and there are lots of trees. In the west, there are hills and red rocks, but not a lot of trees. In some spots, you can hike for a mile and not see one tree. Once, Nan and I were on a hike when it started to storm. Nan and I went into a cave so that we would not get wet. As we were standing there, I saw something shimmer in the dark. Nan, I said, pointing at the spot. What's that? Well, said Nan, let's have a look. We looked and saw something stuck in a crack in the rock. I grabbed it. It's a coin, I said. Well, I'll be, said Nan. I said, what sort of coin is it? Nan said, I can't tell. It looks like it could be made of silver. Then she said, I have a pal Jack who is an expert on coins. We can bring it to him tomorrow, and he will tell us what sort of coin it is. I dropped the coin in my pocket, and we went on with our hike. Let's look at elements of personal narratives. A personal narrative is different from a fictional story because it is not a made-up story, but it contains many of the same elements as a fictional story. Personal narratives have a title, a setting, which is the time and place that the event took place, characters who do things. One of the characters is the author or narrator who is sharing the experience, a plot, a beginning, middle, and end. Good stories answer these 5 W questions. Who? This question asks about the characters in the story. What? This question asks about the plot of the story, the beginning, middle, and end. Where? This question asks about where the story takes place, which is part of the setting. When? This question asks about the time of the story, which is part of the setting. Why? This question gives the reason for the character's actions. Why did the main character do whatever it was they did? These are good questions to ask yourselves as you are thinking about writing a personal narrative or other story. Turn in your Skills 6 workbook to activity page 1.2 on page 3. This activity page is similar to the pages we used when discussing fiction and planning fictional stories. We are going to use this activity page to analyze the personal narrative from Kate's book, In the Cave. Go ahead and write your name and today's date. Fill in your chart as I fill in mine. The name of the tale was In the Cave. Who are the characters in Kate's story? I, which was Kate, and Nan. Where and when did the story take place? It took place at Nan's house, the West, and a cave. What happened in the story? The tale starts with Kate went to visit Nan. She missed Mom and Dad, but she had fun. Next in the tale, one day Nan and Kate went on a hike. They went into a cave when it started to storm. And at the end of the tale, Kate saw a coin in the rock and grabbed it. Nan said they could take it to a coin expert the next day. Then they went on with the hike. You can pause the video now if you need more time to write. Let's review our learning targets. I can review the spelling spelled S and SS. I can learn the sound spelling spelled C. I can read words with spelled S, SS, and C. I can read the personal narrative in the cave and fill out a story map describing elements of the story. I can spell two-syllable words that feature d, and the tricky word there. Let's look at our new spelling words for this week. We have one word with the sound. The first word is swimming. The sounds are s, w, I, swimming. We have two words with the t sound. The first word is rotten. R, a, t, rotten. The next word is batter. B, at, batter. We have three words with the double consonant spelling D. Hidden. Id, hidden. The next word, shredded. Ed, shredded. The next word, nodded. Nodded. We have one word with the P sound spelled double consonant spelling P. Popping. Popping. And lastly, we have tricky word there. T-H-E-I-R, there. Turn to your Skill 6 workbook to activity page 1.3 on page 5. Read your spelling words to someone in your house tonight. Let's review our learning targets one last time. I can review the spellings spelled S and SS. I can learn the sound spelling spelled C. I can read words with spelled S, SS, and C. I can read the personal narrative in the cave and fill out a story map describing different elements of the story. I can spell two-syllable words that feature d, and the tricky word there. Happy learning!